We're walking out, we get into my car, and I end up reversing out of that street so that I don't have to drive in front of that house, because I'm like, if that guy has a gun, I have no idea what's going to happen next. I want to jump into this crazy story because Kevin, like I said in the beginning, he would go with me everywhere. He was literally my partner in crime. If I set an appointment or if I needed to go somewhere, I'd be like, Kevin, can you come? He'd be like, what time?
Yeah.
What time?
Yeah.
Where do you want me to be?
Yeah.
So this specific story happened 2 years ago. I remember I was cold calling for sale by owners on a Saturday in December, and it was Saturday like 8 o'clock. And the reason that I was calling Fizbos that late is because in my mind, I'm like, I want to bug these people so that they see that they need to hire a real estate agent.
Of course.
So I spoke to a gentleman, and it was maybe like the last week. It was right after Christmas in December 2017. So he had a house out here in the city of Downey. And he said, yeah, I want to sell it because I need to move to Irvine and I'm going to be renting out there. I did so many upgrades to the house. So I spoke to him. We had a really good conversation and I set the appointment. I was like, okay, let's get together. How about January? I think it was like the very first Saturday in January. So right after the new year. So I told Kevin, hey, Kevin, I set an appointment for Saturday. Are you available to go with me? He was like, yeah.
Naturally, yes,
Of
course.
So we go to the appointment, the husband, the wife, all of the decision makers, or so we thought, were there. So we get the tour of the house. We know that they're motivated. We had briefly talked about the price. And we did our listing presentation. We had the contracts there. It was myself, Kevin, the husband, the wife, and then the kids that were just kind of like rolling around in the living room. So as we are wrapping...
I forget about the kids. I forget the kids were there the whole time, right?
Yeah. Now that I remember, imagine those kids maybe are traumatized.
I'm just remembering that those kids were there the whole time. And this is going to make a little bit more sense in a little bit, but yeah.
Yes. So we're getting towards the end, asking for the close, Okay, so let's get the ball rolling. We're here now. You just have to sign here, here, here. You are on board. Your wife is on board. Yes. Okay. So then the husband, he picks up the pen. Because I remember he picked up the pen, right?
Yeah, but they had pen to paper. And right, even up to this point, we still had to overcome some objections. But up to that point, it was still kind of like your normal sort of objections. Like, yeah. All right, we got this. Get around it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And then the husband comes out with, oh, well, you know what? We have our friend, our neighbor. He's the real estate guru. And we really just need his opinion. How would you describe how that went, Kevin?
Oh, that was like that is the shift. That was a pinnacle in the whole story where it was a normal listing presentation to now this is not normal. Wait, what? You need to speak to your neighbor about seeing if you should sign off on this or not, or
even though they're not on title and they have nothing to do with the house,
right? And I think we might have talked about it a little, we kind of told them try to go around it,
yeah,
1 or 2 times, and then after a while we're like, you know what, whatever, if we can handle you guys, we can handle anybody, bring them on over. So we basically said, where is he? Look down the street, tell him to come over. And at this point, he's already has him on the phone, right?
Yeah, he has him on the phone. And pretty much this real estate guru was saying, oh, they're charging you too much. And I know somebody else that will do it for less and they'll do it faster and all this other stuff. So this was all over the phone. So, of course, if we're going to handle any objections from someone else that's not even a decision maker, now apparently they are a decision maker. So we'd rather handle those objections in person. That's why we told the guy, okay, if you're here, just come on over and we can talk in person. Now, even prior to that, we were handling every single objection that these people were throwing at us. And at one point, I remember I even called Brian to get in on the call because I was like, am I running out of things to say, or how do we even go about this? So I remember Brian talked to the seller. Then at that point, it's like, okay, yeah, we're on board. But no, they weren't on board.
And when Brian was talking to them, prior to that, I had already, because he came over already, right, at this point? And, or did we call Brian?
Brian was before.
Before he came over.
Before the real estate guru.
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
so then the real estate guru comes over because he was talking a whole lot of shit.
Yeah.
So he comes over and I thought, okay, well, he's here. Now he has to hear what we have to say and we'll be able to, handle his objections and he's going to see the value that we bring and why we're here. So he comes in very aggravated, pissed. Average Joe Schmo.
Yeah. Shoulders up, hunched over, has a hooded sweatshirt, man in his I don't know, what would you say, mid
40s,
late 40s.
Late 40s. Yeah.
And hands. You said hands in his pocket, right?
Yeah.
It is not looking very confident or just not comfortable in general.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're here because they don't have any business going on. I know someone else that can do it for much less." I don't know if he said 4% or.
Right, and while he was being very aggro, as I would like to say, very aggressive.
Yeah, very.
He started off kind of soft or more like on the, commission's too high, just too high. I know somebody who can do it for less. And we're still throwing objections at this guy too, like, hey, listen, I know somebody who can do it for 1% or a flat fee of $1,000, but at the end of the day, is that going to guarantee that they're going to get the results that they need and help them make the move over to here to there, right? And smoothly and with the right professional. But he, no matter what we were saying to this gentleman,
he just didn't care.
I don't even want to call him a gentleman, whatever. And everything was going through one ear, through the other. Throughout the other. And then at that point, that's when he started making some more rude comments, right? Saying things like, oh, they're only here because they don't have any business, right? And I think that was the last thing he said before, because at this point it was almost turning into a bicker. It had escalated. He's already out there. And at this point, when he said that line of just oh, they're only here because they don't have any business. And then Loida I remember Loida just got her brand new Porsche. And I'm thinking oh, yeah, so, yeah, we're not here because we don't have any business. How about that Porsche outside? I guess that's why we don't have any business, right?
And you told him that.
I told him this. And then he's like, oh, that's a lease.
He did say that.
He's like, that's a lease. And then I'm just thinking oh, you want the pinks? And then that's when he gets up and he goes.
Everything just went 0 to 100.
Yeah, that was I've called out her having a Porsche and then this and that and then that's when he goes. I'm like, you want to see the pinks? And he's like, and then he gets up off the couch. Mind you, this is half the time he's already sitting on the couch, and he gets up real strong, squares his shoulders, and he's and he says, "Oh, so you're saying just because I don't have a Porsche, I'm a loser?" Or that's what he said, right?
Did say that.
I'm a loser, or I'm not nothing, or he got really offended. He took it the complete wrong way, and I'm sorry if I'm blowing up here and ruining people's ears. But and then he came up to me, squared off with me, and mind you, this whole time we were having this interaction, I have my elbows propped to the side like this. Do you remember?
Counter
I was like
of
this.
The kitchen, yeah.
I had my blazer on, just kind of looking and talking.
You were keeping it professional,
talking to him with my neck turned to the side, sideways, not even squaring off with him.
Yeah.
And then that's when he gets up, and then immediately I'm like, this dude did not just square up with me because body language. So you ready for the motion?
Yes, you gotta see this.
All right. He squares up, and I go, take off my glasses, get up, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? And then straight up, just what are you gonna do? Right, in a little more of a serious tone. And then he just stayed quiet, didn't say anything. The guy, the homeowner at this point coming in, oh guys, let's just take it easy, all right? I respect both. Oh, by the way, through this whole little debacle of the freaking people of us going back and forth, the husband's just there standing like an, can I say ass?
Yeah.
Just standing there like an ass. Just going, good point, Loida. Oh, but you have a good point too.
Yeah.
Oh, but Loida does make sense. Just
that
ass.
was him the entire time, the seller.
Right. So I get it. Square off, glasses on the ground already. Tell him, what are you going to do? Seller comes in. Whoa, guys, take it easy. I tell him, hey, I got gloves in the car. Let's go. Because you did have gloves in the car.
Yeah, I did have gloves because we do boxing. We train.
And I'm thinking, all right, if we're going to do this the right way. And I don't want to hurt you and I don't want to go to jail. And he says, I said, we have gloves in the car. And this guy says, you have a gun in the car? You got a gun? And he starts reaching for his phone.
Yes.
Or to call the cops. Like, oh, I'm going to call the cops.
But at that point, we didn't know what was in his pocket. I just saw him reaching in his pocket for something. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I literally thought that guy had a gun. So I remember I grabbed Kevin and I grabbed his glasses from the counter. And I was like, we got to get out of here.
And I'm ready to fight. So all I just feel is like a this.
Like someone pulled me.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess we're getting out of here. And and then she's such a savage. Always gotta leave the door open. What's the last thing you say before we leave?
I was like, if you change your mind, you know how to get a hold of me or something like that.
No, I think it was more along the lines of, when you're ready to get serious, call me.
Yeah, and then we ran out of the house. We ran to my car. And I was like, because at that point, I was like, I don't know if that dude had a gun in his pocket. I mean, he's struggling to get it out of his pocket.
I'm cursing up a storm. I'm just like, forget this dude.
So we're walking out. We get into my car. And I end up reversing out of that street so that I don't have to drive in front of that house. Because I'm like, if that guy has a gun, I have no idea what's going to happen next. And yeah, that was like the craziest story, the craziest thing that we have ever encountered, that I have ever encountered in person, where I felt like my life was in danger.
Yeah, and then that's why it's kind of funny when you think about the kids were there the whole time. They were two little toddlers just like playing the whole time, and then we're just over here like.
Yeah, it was literally like an argument going back and forth, and
in hindsight, when I think about it, that's really, it was an argument. So like moving forward again, it's just. Once you see things like that coming, and you already know that someone's stuck in their ways, even if it's a special scenario where you're like, it's not even the sellers you're talking to anymore, right? And that was very special. You have this guy coming out that's a neighbor, and now we're trying to convince the neighbor who's his name's not even on the title.
Yeah. So now thinking back, I think to myself and for everyone that's listening. It's that you'll know when you're in situations like that where you just need to walk away because it's not worth it. It's not worth it for your sanity, for your health, for your well-being. Because let's say even if we did proceed and that the owner did sign, imagine how many times this random real estate guru neighbor would intervene in absolutely everything that these people would sign. And you have to learn to have your mindset be so strong that you're like, okay, you know what? I have standards and I'm not going to lower my standards just because I want a deal or I need money desperately.
Correct.
Because it's going to hurt you in the end.
Correct.
Any last words, Kevin?
That's exactly it. I mean, I'm over here getting out of my mind because I'm so furious now again, just thinking about No, just kidding. But yeah, just you again, we know what we could have done better now, and again, it was just a very special situation. I remember texting Brian in the middle of that, being like, 911, we need your help.
Yeah.
And then us calling him after, and him being like, it's a good thing I wasn't there. Whatever, you know?
Yeah, we left, and we were both pissed. Kevin was super furious, because, I mean, he really wanted to fight that dude.
Yeah, I don't, listen, I'm sure some of you can relate. I don't like bullies. I don't, growing up, I had to deal with a lot of them. And when I see that type of guy come at me that way with that type of mentality and not even willing to listen or to even understand and his whole demeanor was very much a bully mentality. And yeah. So I wasn't going to put up with that. So that's why I was really pissed.
Yes. So there you have it. That is our crazy real estate story. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone else. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.